Hey everybody, and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the Minicopter and a little bit about the new electricity components. We're not going to be talking about how to control or drive the Minicopter. If you hold control while you're on the floor, you can drive it around, so you can land it on your base on the roof and then drive it into a garage door or a little place, because if you put it inside it will not decay, and of course other people cannot get it, so it's your Minicopter. I designed a little launch pad you can use to land on, probably with a little bit of practice. Taking off shouldn't be that hard, since you can just take off vertically. This is meant as a separate base, like as a vehicle base and not really as a main base, so why stop at Minicopters? As you can see, there's room for one Rhib or two rowboats, whatever you want. And here you see 3 Minicopters inside, so they don't decay. We've been able to put 4 in there, but it's not really optimal. If you're not really into electricity or you don't want to bother with it, you can just land your thing, open up the door manually and then drive it in there. Works perfectly fine, but since we got some new stuff, why not mess around with it? Since you can just swap around in the seats, we made the doors open up with the new radio frequency controller. Just press X to switch to another seat if you're solo on the boat. Press the little radio frequency controller, go back to the driver's seat and drive in. But once again, why stop there? When I was testing this and flying around in the night, I saw it was really hard to see where to land, so I had these flashing lights to show me where the building is and where the launch pads are, and also the siren lights to show me, if I'm landing, what is going on. So this is what it looks like when it's night. These flashing lights will always be there showing you where to land, and this night isn't even that bad. I can still pretty much see what's going on now, but some nights are really bad. Then when I get close enough, the personal sensor detector, heartbeat thingy, whatever, will detect me, the doors will automatically go open and all the lights start flashing. So let's dive in. I'll show you first how to build it. If you're not into electricity, skip the second part, but I'm going to show you how to do all the electricity too, if you're into it. This is going to be a good one, maybe a little bit of a long one. I hope you enjoy. There are timestamps in the video description you can click on to watch a certain topic. Let's go. So as always, we're going to start with the foundation, and you want to place it that the water just doesn't hit the bottom of it. I placed it a little bit too deep in this example, but it still worked out. Then build 4 long, 4 wide, 4 long. You want to build these 2 walls close to the water and also these roofs, because when you place the gate and you then want to place the walls, it might be bitching that there is no room. After you've done that, jump into the water and place the gate pretty close, as you can see here. And we're going to build 2 little towers close to the gate. Just build on the outside, I'll show you. And we're going to close up the top. You cannot really close all the way at the top. If you rotate the gate, you might be able to do that. I've been able to do it, but otherwise just close the layer below, as I showed you there. Then we're going to place the foundation steps that are there to guide the boat, the Rhib or whatever boat you choose. It should look a little bit like this. And then we're going to continue with the outer wall, and don't forget to add a normal entrance, so not just the boat entrance somewhere. Here I make a little airlock, and it's up to you where you build it and how you do the internal part. I'm just showing you how I did mine if you want to copy it. So it looked a little bit like this after you build the outside walls and also upgraded everything. And then we're going to do the roof, so place all the roof parts and then close off that little room that we made. I put a garage door there later in the end. And once again, upgrade everything. For the little room, I'm going to place 2 triangle floors. They will still be able to jump through this, but at least I force them to go into the barbed wire and take a little bit of damage. And also, if I'm in the base, give me a sound cue that someone is messing around in my base. So the inside looks a little bit like this. Yours might look a little bit different, but should be exactly the same skeleton of the base. I'm going to place a ladder somewhere, and if you want to, you could also make these half walls and then place a floor there. And this is also where I put part of the electricity. Where you put your tool cupboard and how you did the interior, that's up to you. I'm just showing you the main exterior of the base. So I'm just filling up these last parts here with these floors and then upgrade it, of course. This is where your Minicopters will be stationary, whatever you want to call it. So they don't decay and you can just drive them onto your launch pad and go out. I had to delete one wall because I didn't think about where I want the launch pad to be. So here I'm building one without any support. This is the biggest launch pad you can create without making any bottom support. It's basically 2 wide and then you can put some triangles on the end. Here I put 2. In the end I deleted one to keep it more symmetrical. And then I added low walls because they seem to get you the least stuck with the Minicopter. Here you can see it has no support and you can just land on there pretty easily with a little bit of practice. If you think you need more room or you want more room, just build a few foundations. I built 2 here just as an example, and this will allow you to build 1 bigger, so you have a little bit more room to land on, or build there whatever you want to build if you want to have turrets there or need more room for whatever reason. It's exactly the same as on the other side, so I'm not going to be explain what I'm doing, and it should be pretty self-explanatory. Once again, low walls, upgrade everything. And now you should have 2 decks Once again, or I don't think I said that already, but you don't have to have 2 decks. You can have 1. This is just an example, and I think it looks pretty cool. If you're not into electricity, I think you're basically done. Take this outside of the base or design, whatever you want to call it, and just plump it onto your base and have fun landing and flying, and also good luck landing and flying, because it's not that easy as it seems in the video. I had a little bit of practice before making the video, and that helped me out really much, and I have a lot of bloopers and things that I could have recorded, but I didn't. If you do like electricity, we're gonna continue right here. Welcome. So if you want, do the same as me, add the siren lights, as many as you want. I'm gonna keep 3 lights on every deck, and we're just gonna build 1 deck with the electricity, and then if you want to build exactly the same on the other side, just place your heartbeat sensor on the outside and a door controller on the inside of the garage door at the launch deck. And this is where the fun really starts. So you need a source. I'm going to use a generator for this. We're going to place a switch, and then 2 splitters, and we're going to need a branch. Then hook up the switch to the branch and your branch to either side of the splitters. I didn't show this in the video, but you want to hold E on the branch and then configure it to output only 20. Take one of the outputs of the right splitter and hook it into the input of the person detector or heartbeat sensor. We're then going to place a timer, ignore the second switch at the bottom. Then take the second output from the splitter and put it into the power of the timer. Then place a end switch and take this third output and put that into the end switch. Then hook the end switch up to the trigger of the timer, and then hook up the output of the timer to a new branch that I just placed down. And we're going to take that branch and put it once again into 2 splitters. So basically, if that end switch gets both powers from one from the splitter and one from the person detector, anything hooked up to these 2 splitters will go off. So this is where our garage door is going to be, and our siren lights. I'm checking the electricity and I'm splitting it off to 10. Just check how many you have and make sure both splitters get an equal amount of electricity. You then want to take one of the outputs and hook it up to the door controller. To pair the door controller to the door, it needs to get power, and here you see it turning off. So I'm re-triggering the outside sensor so it has power. Then you can press E on it and it will be linked to the door, and now anytime it gets power it will automatically open it. So we're going to take the second output and hook it up to a siren light, and then just continue doing that. So the third output also goes to a siren light. How you do the cables is completely up to you, and that's also why I didn't show it. Then take the last one and hook it up to the siren lights. If you want to, you got 2 more outputs that you could hook things up to happen once the end switch gets triggered. So you could add more lights or even another splitter if you have enough power for it. To make the flashing lights only work in the dark, we're going to need a blocker. You see me remove the splitter. You don't have to do that, but it looked a little bit cleaner if I did. So we're going to take the output from the branch that was originally in the other splitter, and going to first hook it into the power of the blocker, and then take the power out and hook that into the power in. And what that allows us to do is place 2 solar panels on the roof that will basically get sun whenever it's day, and then it will block the output of the blocker. So basically whenever it's day, that will get input through the sun, and it will make sure that those flashing lights are not on, and then if it gets light, those 2 solar panels will not get any electricity, and it will allow pass-through, so it will only work at night. And I have only 3 lights, so very simple. Just take those 3 outputs and hook them up to all the flashing lights, and there is no demonstration, but trust me, it works. So if you have 2 decks and you want to do 2 decks, do the same thing on the other side and it should be working. So this is how you do the decks with the automatic doors, the siren lights, flashing lights. Here you see me testing it. The door was already open, but the lights are flashing, and after 10 seconds, because I didn't change the timer, the door will close automatically, and when I come close enough, the doors will open, or door will open. The lights will go flashing for 10 seconds and it will close. You can of course change that timer. And lastly, let's electrify that Rhib door and call it a day. So once again, a power source and then a switch to turn everything on and off. And we're going to feed that switch into the splitter, and that splitter is going to power this radio frequency receiver. And we're basically going to do the same trick as what we did with the heartbeat sensor, because the heartbeat sensor and the radio receiver don't really give any power, so we cannot hook up a splitter or something to it. So we're going to take a end switch that I just placed and give one of the outputs to the splitter into the input of the end switch, and then take the other output of the radio receiver and put that into the end switch as well. Then we're going to take the output of the end switch and put it into a splitter. But before we can hook up anything, we need to make sure we're on the same frequency. So hold E on the receiver and set a frequency whatever you want. Then hold right click while holding the radio frequency controller, whatever you want to call it, and make sure it's on the same frequency. Place a door controller as close to the gate as you can. You cannot place it on the gate itself, and give it power through the splitter. This works if you are with someone else, because then someone can open up the door for you and you can drive in. But if you're solo, you're going to need a timer. So I'm going to put a timer in there and first of all give it power from the splitter, and then take the output of the end switch, and instead of going to the splitter, make it go to the trigger of the timer, and then put the output of the timer into the splitter. So now whenever you trigger it, it will trigger the timer and it will stay on for whatever time you have set to the timer. Long story, but it does work. Thank you for watching. You're an absolute beast if you made it all the way to the end. I do want to say, yes, I know the generator is still not in the game, but you can just use a large battery and it gives exactly the same power, so you can still hook all these things up. You just have to configure the input to the battery, and that's up to you. Use a windmill, use a solar panel. I hope this was useful. I'm out. Thank you for watching. Peace. Whew. Thank you very much for watching. Click on the left thumbnail for my most recent upload, or click on the right for a video that suits you best. As always, have a very nice day. I'm out. Peace.